Lil Durk's future has been under intense scrutiny with the serious federal charges against him. Facing potential life imprisonment, the rapper's journey has taken an unexpected turn. Speculation surrounding his next move has been circulating, with some rumors even suggesting he's trying to escape, like El Chapo. So, how did Durk get to this point, and what's ahead for him? Durk has been held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Los Angeles since November 2024. This isn't your average prison. MDC is a high-security federal detention facility, housing high-risk detainees. Inmates have rooms with glass, windows, offering a unique experience that feels almost like a hotel.
I don't necessarily think you're just beating a Fed case like that.
But they can't leave. Durk's time in detention hasn't been easy, but he has found solace in his faith. Reports indicate that Durk has embraced Islam more deeply, spending time praying and learning Arabic. His transformation from a street persona to a spiritual leader has been notable. Despite finding peace in his faith, Durk has faced challenges behind bars. He has been accused of violating prison protocols by participating in unauthorized three-way calls, which prosecutors use to argue that he's a flight risk and cannot be trusted. Yet Durk maintains a strong mental and
I've been good, man, mentally, spiritually. I've been on top of my... I'll be back out there, you hear me?
Man, we can't wait, bro. We've been praying for you.
Thank you. I need all the prayers. I appreciate you. I was telling them, I'm like, I think...
Spiritual outlook. In a phone call with DJ Academics in April 2025, he expressed optimism, saying he's doing well, mentally and spiritually. Despite the chaos surrounding him, Durk has continued to make music. His 9th studio album, Deep Thoughts, was released in March 2025 and debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200. Even in prison, his influence remains strong, with collaborations from big names like Future and Lil Baby. However, Durk admitted he hasn't even listened to the entire album, showcasing the disconnect caused by his time in detention.
They was keeping me updated, but I ain't heard nothing. This is like a box of hell. We don't get no news, no talk, no nothing. If you don't call or somebody send it to you on the computer, it's a wrap.
Durk's legal team is aggressively defending him, challenging the evidence presented by the prosecution. They've filed motions to dismiss charges, arguing that song lyrics, often used as evidence, are circumstantial and shouldn't be tied to the alleged crimes. Durk's defense team is also preparing for a bond hearing in May 2025, hoping to secure his release while awaiting trial. They've proposed a bond package worth millions, including cash and real estate, but the court has denied such requests so far, citing Durk's resources and flight risk. In addition to the federal charges, Durk faces several civil lawsuits, including wrongful death suits from the families of Sava Robinson and FBG Duck. These lawsuits accuse Durk of orchestrating targeted attacks leading to the deaths of these individuals. Even if Durk wins the criminal case, these civil cases could drain his resources and further damage his reputation. Durk's family has remained his strongest support. His son, Zayden Banks, issued a public statement praising his father's charitable efforts and his role as a father. The family has also defended Durk against the charges, especially the use of his rap lyrics as evidence, arguing that they are simply artistic expressions and not admissions of real-life crimes. The federal case against Durk is built on solid evidence, including over 230 gallons of digital data, wiretaps, and testimonies from informants. Prosecutors are using this evidence to argue that Durk orchestrated a violent criminal enterprise, with multiple murders linked to him. The charges he faces are severe: conspiracy to commit murder for hire, using interstate facilities to commit murder, and firearms in furtherance of violent crimes leading to death. Durk's rise from the violent streets of Chicago to global stardom has been overshadowed by these serious charges.
He's locked up. Got the mug show. No.
In October 2024, he was arrested at Miami International Airport under dramatic circumstances. Authorities claim that Durk had planned 3 separate escape routes for the same day, one to Italy, another to Switzerland, and a third to Dubai. The Fed saw this as an attempt to flee the country, signaling how desperate Durk may have been. To avoid facing the charges against him stem from an alleged plot targeting rapper Quando Rondo, who was linked to the 2020 death of King Von. Prosecutors say Durk placed a bag on Rondo's head, offering money to anyone who could take him out. The plot involved a group of associates flying to California, renting luxury vehicles, and purchasing weapons. The hit didn't go as planned. Rondo's cousin, Lou Pob, was killed, but Rondo himself escaped unharmed. The detailed evidence collected by investigators, including credit card data and surveillance footage, forms the core of the case against Durk. On top of the Quando Rondo case, federal prosecutors have introduced a second alleged murder-for-hire plot related to the 2022 killing of Stefan Mack. This case, tied to Durk's brother's death, involves accusations that Durk financed the hit.
Grammy Award-winning Chicago rapper Lil Durk is facing new charges in a murder-for-hire plot.
I decided I had to finish, but the media called me a menace.
Lil Durk, whose real name is Durk Banks, is facing 2 additional felony charges, including conspiracy. He's accused of conspiring with others to murder a rival rapper in Los Angeles in 2022, but the shooters missed their intended target and killed someone else. 5 other people are also facing charges, 4 of whom are from the Chicago area.
Although no formal charges have been filed yet, this adds further weight to the government's case, suggesting a pattern of violent behavior. Amid the legal drama, rumors have begun circulating about possible informants within Durk's circle. Street sources suggest that individuals like Jam and Brick Baby might have been working with the feds for years, gathering evidence to build the case. This has led to a wave of paranoia, as rumors of betrayal spread through the streets. Allegations that people close to Durk were recording conversations or cooperating with authorities could be devastating to his case and reputation. In street culture, the idea of snitching is a serious violation, and the mere suggestion that someone has cooperated with law enforcement can have severe consequences. For Durk, who built his career on authenticity and street credibility, these rumors could permanently damage his reputation. The psychological warfare aspect of this case is also significant. Federal authorities often leak information about informants to create mistrust and paranoia, which can lead to more cooperation as individuals rush to make deals to save themselves.
Lil Durk is pushing to have his murder-for-hire case dismissed. Lil Durk, whose real name is Durk Banks, is charged in connection with an attack that killed the cousin of a rival rapper. His lawyers say prosecutors misled the grand jury by alleging Durk bragged about the attack in a song. They say that song was recorded 7 months before the killing, and they add that Durk has no connection to a modified version later posted on YouTube.
If the allegations about snitching are proven true, it could have a lasting impact on Durk's career, even if he's acquitted of the charges. The stakes are high, and the pressure on Durk and his legal team is immense. With a potential life sentence hanging over his head, Durk's situation is nothing short of a nightmare. As Durk faces one of the most high-profile cases in hip-hop, the implications for his career and legacy are profound. The case raises important questions about the intersection of art and law, as well as the ongoing debate about violence in rap music. Will Durk overcome these charges and reclaim his position in hip-hop? Or will the pressures of his legal situation and the street code destroy everything he's built? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, this story is far from over. The case against Durk continues to unfold as federal authorities tighten their grip. One of the most damaging pieces of evidence could be a wiretap. Court documents suggest that Durk's voice is recorded discussing payments for alleged hits.
Prosecutors in the Lil Durk murder-for-hire case say they will not seek the death penalty. The Chicago rap star is charged in connection with an attack that killed the cousin of a rival rapper. Now, his lawyers say that prosecutors misled the grand jury by claiming Lil Durk bragged about the attack in a song. They also say the song was recorded 7 months before the killing. They add that Durk has no connection to the modified version that was later posted on YouTube.
These conversations reportedly show how Durk allegedly structured financial transactions related to the plot to kill Quando Rondo. The tapes captured Durk instructing an associate to avoid using names when booking flights, possibly to prevent creating a paper trail linking him to the crimes. The federal government's case has been built methodically, with wiretaps, informants, and digital evidence providing a web of circumstantial and direct proof. Authorities have traced credit card transactions to flights, hotels, and equipment used for the alleged murder-for-hire plot. The use of surveillance footage and GPS data has allowed prosecutors to track the movements of Durk and his associates, making it difficult for the defense to counter the overwhelming evidence. What makes this case even more concerning for Durk is that it has broader implications for the hip-hop community. The use of rap lyrics as evidence in criminal cases is a controversial topic, and Durk's defense team is emphasizing that his lyrics should be considered artistic expression and not admissions of criminal activity. This argument reflects a larger debate about the criminalization of rap artistry, especially when it comes to the portrayal of violence in the genre. If Durk's defense fails, he faces a long road ahead, not only in terms of legal consequences, but also in his personal and professional life. The mere suggestion of involvement in multiple murder-for-hire plots can tarnish an artist's career, regardless of the trial's outcome. Even if he is acquitted, the damage to his reputation and the damage caused by the snitching rumors could have a lasting effect on his standing in the industry.
Chicago rapper Lil Durk could be linked to a second murder-for-hire plot, this time in Chicago. These are images of the gunman who shot and killed Stefan Mack in 2022. Prosecutors say Mack was outside the Youth Peace Center of Roseland when he was gunned down. The FBI linked the two men charged with Mack's murder to Durk using texts and confidential informants. The feds believe this murder was revenge for the death of Lil Durk's brother. To be clear, Lil Durk has not been charged in Mack's murder.
Additionally, as Durk's trial date approaches, the situation has raised further concerns within the music industry. In an environment where street credibility plays a significant role in an artist's success, these allegations could lead to a breakdown in relationships, both within Durk's inner circle and with his fan base. It is a reminder of the fine line. Artists walk between their public personas and personal lives, where legal troubles and the complexities of street culture collide. The psychological toll of these accusations cannot be understated. As Durk's trial date draws closer, the pressure on him intensifies. The ongoing legal battles, coupled with his own personal transformation, create a juxtaposition of faith and fear. How much of his life will change when the trial is over? If convicted, Durk could be looking at life in prison. But if he beats the charges, it could signal a major victory not just for him, but for the culture of hip-hop and how the law interacts with artistic expression. Durk's situation also reflects a larger issue in the criminal justice system, particularly how the system targets high-profile figures in the music industry. With the evidence against him mounting, it's evident that this case is not just about a rapper, but about the intersection of fame, art, and crime. For Durk, this trial may not just define his legal future, it could also shape the future of how the justice system treats hip-hop as a genre. At the same time, the possibility of Durk's release on bond is still up in the air. His legal team has made multiple attempts to secure his freedom until the trial, but judges have so far denied these requests. Even if his bond is eventually granted, the looming presence of civil suits and the threat of federal charges could mean a drawn-out battle that stretches on for months, if not years. Durk's music career has been one of resilience, constantly evolving from the hardships of his past. But now, his future hangs in the balance. Whether or not he can maintain his musical legacy in the face of these challenges remains uncertain. For now, his fans continue to support him, eagerly awaiting his return. But even with such loyalty, the question remains: can Durk overcome this storm and rebuild his empire, or will these legal battles define the end of an era for him? With his trial now postponed to October 2025, Durk's fate seems more uncertain than ever. Will he be able to beat the charges and reclaim his crown as one of hip-hop's most influential artists? Or will he become just another example of how street culture and the music industry often collide in catastrophic ways? This case is far from over, and the eyes of the hip-hop world remain fixed on Durk's next moves. His fate will ultimately shape not just his career, but the future of rap and how it intersects with the criminal justice system.